How you doing, guys? Back for another whiskey review. This is one I've previously done. Lot number 40, rye whiskey. At least I did a version of this anyway. If you may recall, if you followed the channel for a while, my friend Ewart, a while back, sent me a bunch of sample bottles of different whiskeys that he had acquired. And he was nice enough to put them all in little sample bottles for me and send me a nice package. So I reviewed that along with a couple others in one video. So I figured, since I went to the NSLC and saw this available on the shelf for the first time ever, that I ever recall anyway, here in Nova Scotia, I figured I'd buy a fresh bottle and re-review it. And plus, this is a small batch whiskey that changes, you know, ever so slightly depending on the batch variation. And so it'd just be interesting to see it again and see if I rate it as highly as I did before. I gave my original review, I gave a plus to that lot 40 that I drank, lot number 40 rye whiskey. So we're trying this again. This sits at 43% alcohol by volume. It is a 100% rye whiskey, but it is still a blend. It is a blend of 90% rye grain and 10% malted rye. So it's two different distillations blended together here. And man, I really loved it before. And as you can see, I've had quite a bit of it since I got it, just a day ago or so. So we're going to get into it here and see what we think. See what it says here on the bottle first. Like I said, 43% alcohol by volume, so it's 86 proof. Lot 40 is crafted in small batches using rye grain in a single copper pot still and aged in virgin oak barrels. This bold whiskey has been perfected through generations of master distillers. This is Canadian rye whiskey in its simplest form. So that's what they're doing here. They're not going for anything fancy or special. They're just doing straight up rye whiskey. Let's go right to the aroma. So you can look at it, well, first look at it here. Nice golden color. Leaves some decent legs, syrupy legs on the glass there. Let's go right to the aroma. There's a beautiful, spicy rye punch to it. Rye right in the forefront, as it should be with something like this. And then in the background you get this combination of sort of a sourdough mash bread kind of thing. You get a little bit of vanilla. You get a little bit of sort of a cocoa or chocolate kind of aroma there as well. And you get a nice big smack of wood. And these sort of combine together as you sit on it a bit. And it sort of smells a little bit like something around like an apple pie or something along those lines. Like the spiciness of it and some of the other aromas come together almost reminds you of like an apple pie kind of spice with cinnamon or something along those lines. So there we go. We'll go right to the taste. Cheers. It's got a good upper medium body to it, approaching full, but it's not overly syrupy. Definitely, if all you're familiar with in Canadian whiskey is Canadian Club or Crown Royal, this is totally going to blow you out of the water because it's just so, in many ways, vastly different from that. This is a bold, aggressive rye whiskey. Big rye punch right up front. Just puts that spice all over your mouth. Tingles the back of the throat. You get a bit of a, again, an apple pie character there. Getting a lot more sourdough bread in the actual taste. A little bit of chocolate. Just, again, I can't understand how amazing the rye punch in this is. And it settles back in the back of your throat with the oak. And it's very nice and dry, very tannic. Tastes much more like an American whiskey. Like, if you did not know this was a Canadian whiskey and you just got into it, you would suspect it was an American whiskey instead. But indeed, it's not. It's Canadian. And it's beautiful. It just, as much as I enjoy the Canadian Club 100% rye, this just totally flat out beats it, hands down. The Crown Royal one is also fairly decent, but again, it can't stand up to this. Those ones tend to have more fruitiness in them that I'm not a big fan of. Here, this one is just much more based around that rye punch, and that's what I really appreciate about this. It's just straight up, no frills, rye. I suspect that the Canadian Club and the Crown Royal have some other things going on in those mashes, even though they say 100% rye. Who knows? I've seen some people sort of speculate on that, but so I'm not saying that. Don't think I'm casting aspersions on them. But there's just something in the way they do their ones that doesn't appeal to me as much, because it seems like they're produced for more of a mass market general palate, and that's understandable. Here, Lot 40, they're really going after the serious kind of rye enthusiast, so they're highlighting that a lot more in the way they make this whiskey, and it's really goddamn good. My opinion of this has not changed. If anything, it's grown even bigger, but I can't give an A++. I can just still only relent and give an A+. And, man, it's a great fucking whiskey. It's probably, for my money, what did I pay for this, by the way? It was 40-something I paid. And this appeared with a bunch of other whiskeys that were winners, or some sort of placing pick in a sort of whiskey tasting thing that happened here in Nova Scotia at some point in the last little while. So I'm actually going to try to get to a couple other candidates on that that list that are available. So you'll be seeing a lot more whiskey in the coming weeks on the channel. But yeah, A+ for this. If anything, it just tastes better to me having it the second time around. I think it being a little bit fresher in the bottle than the sample that I got from Ewart, it just heightens it for me. It's bolder, a little bit more aggressive feeling. Maybe I'm just fooling myself here, but it doesn't matter. Either way, across the board, still A+. And I've gone on enough about this. Thank you guys for watching. If you can find this stuff, pick it up. And we'll see you later. Bye-bye.